Imagine having a trust fund that pays you $500,000 a year, every year. That's over $15 million in today's money. For most of us, that's a lifetime of financial security. But for Boni de Castellane, the best-dressed man in Europe, it was barely pocket money. Boni was married to Anna Gould, an American heiress, and he treated her immense fortune not as real money, but as an endless resource for his extravagant dreams. He was the ultimate tastemaker of the Belle Epoque, but his tastes came with a price tag that would make your head spin. Despite having access to Anna's massive trust, Boni was constantly complaining about being broke. He'd pressure lawyers to dig deeper into the principal to free up more cash for his latest project. By 1900, the situation was so out of control that Anna's own brother had to step in. Taking legal guardianship of her finances, he slashed Boni's allowance down to a mere $300,000 a year. This sent Boni into what can only be described as an aristocratic rage. His behavior was so extreme that psychiatrists actually studied him, coining the term Bonioism to describe his flamboyant excess and his complete and utter disconnection from financial reality. He just didn't see it as money that could run out. He saw it as fuel for his social and aesthetic ambitions. But Boni's spending was just on lavish parties and architectural fantasies like his famous pink marble palace, the Palais Rose. His personal life was just as extravagant and far more scandalous. While he was burning through Anna's inheritance, he was also systematically humiliating her. His sexuality was an open secret in Parisian high society. His relationships with both men and women were the talk of the town, providing endless gossip for a society that thrived on scandal. The famous author Marcel Proust, a close friend of Boni's, even immortalized him as the character Robert de Saint-Loup in his masterpiece. In Search of Lost Time, this character, a bisexual aristocrat, perfectly captured the complex and decadent world of the Belle Epoque elite. In that world, being unconventional was acceptable as long as you were discreet and stylish. But Boni was neither. He flaunted his affairs with the same entitlement he used to spend Anna's money. He would give tours of their home and jokingly refer to their own bedroom as an expiatory chapel, turning their intimate life into a punchline for his guests. All this time, Anna had to endure not just the rapid draining of her inheritance, but also the public shame of a marriage that was more performance art than a genuine partnership. And yet, during this tumultuous time, they had 5 children together, though their first, Marie-Louise, tragically died in infancy. The sheer scale of Boni's spending is hard to comprehend, even by the ridiculous standards of the Gilded Age, over their 11-year marriage. He managed to burn through $10 million of Anna's money. It's about $300 million today. Staggering sum represented 2/3 of her entire inheritance. It funded his art collecting, his architectural projects, and his personal mission to single-handedly keep Europe's luxury goods industry afloat. Within just the first 5 years, they had spent $7.7 million, forcing Anna to live off her rapidly shrinking principal instead of the investment income. The breaking point for Anna came in 1906. It wasn't one single grand betrayal, but a series of humiliating incidents that finally wore her down. The final straw: she came home one day to find the electricity had been cut off. Despite their enormous wealth, Boni had simply failed to pay the bills. He apparently considered such mundane tasks beneath his aristocratic notice. This wasn't just being bad with money. It was a level of contempt for reality that was truly breathtaking. On January 20th, 1906, after 11 years of watching her fortune evaporate, Anna filed for divorce. She cited his infidelity and his financial recklessness, immediately cut off his access to her funds, and threw him out. His clothes, described as his only remaining fortune, were packed up and sent to his parents like luggage from a failed vacation. The divorce proceedings laid bare the full, devastating extent of his spending. Nearly 70% of her inheritance gone in just over a decade. But this was just the beginning of Anna's revenge. She was about to deliver a blow to Boni's pride that was far more painful than just cutting off his money. Anna Gould's revenge on her fortune-hunting ex-husband was a masterpiece of social strategy. While Boni was trying to get their marriage annulled by the Catholic Church, a legal battle that would drag on for 20 years through 6 separate trials, Anna made her move. In 1908, she married his own cousin, Heiress de Talleyrand, Périgord, the Duke of Talleyrand. This was a brilliant and brutal checkmate. In one move, she elevated her own social status from countess to duchess, forcing Boni to watch his ex-wife outrank him within his own family. Unlike her first marriage, this one was a success. The Duke gave her a stable partnership, genuine affection, and, most importantly, he didn't view her fortune as his personal piggy bank. They remained married until his death in 1937 and had 2 children together. Meanwhile, Boni found himself in a position he never could have imagined, a penniless French aristocrat who actually had to work for a living. With his characteristic wit, he reinvented himself as an antiques dealer and even published his memoirs. Cheekily titled The Art of Being Poor, the same impeccable taste that had bankrupted his wife now became his lifeline. He became a successful dealer advising wealthy American millionaires on their art collections. In a strange twist, many of the pieces he had bought with Anna's money eventually ended up in prestigious museums, like the Frick collection and the Louvre, giving his wild spending spree an unexpected and lasting cultural legacy. He even co-founded an organization to preserve historic buildings, ironically becoming a champion for the very heritage he once treated so carelessly. But what about the Palais Rose? That pink marble monument to their spectacular and doomed marriage. It survived 2 world wars, even serving as a German headquarters during the occupation. But it could not survive modern urban development. In 1968, a developer bought the property. And despite a public outcry from preservationists, the palace was demolished in 1969 to make way for an apartment building. It was a true cultural tragedy. Before it was torn down, valuable pieces were salvaged. Workers discovered closets still full of period clothing, shoes, and letters, like ghosts of a vanished era. Anna Gould died in 1961 at the age of 86. She had returned to America and eventually bequeathed her father's magnificent estate, Lyndhurst, to the National Trust for Historic Preservation, ensuring its survival. The story of Anna and Boni is the ultimate cautionary tale. It's about what happens when unlimited money meets unlimited entitlement. Anna's journey from a quiet, awkward heiress to a savvy, powerful duchess shows that even the most painful lessons can be valuable. Her story teaches us a few things. Financial literacy is priceless. A fancy title is only as good as the person who holds it. And sometimes the best revenge isn't getting angry. It's marrying your ex-husband's cousin and living a happier, more fabulous, and socially superior life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story of Gilded Age drama and sweet revenge, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from history. We'll see you next time.